Rampage, the king of the jungle, is an absolute beast. In this guide, I'm going to show you how to tame the beast and build him for absolute destruction. I'll start with the build and then, as always, I'll give you a guide to how you should be using him. You want to start off with his prime card, the Warlord, for that huge damage bonus. We then have a health potion and 2 strike tokens. I recommend you take more strike tokens than 2, it's just I only have 2. A Flashfire Piston with 3 strikes, another Flashfire Piston with 3 kinetics, a Rust Breaker with double strikes and a minus strike. We use the Rust Breaker for that all important physical penetration. A Brawler's key as well because we need to get harvesters, but I would recommend you change to a Beastmaster's key if you have it, because that card is 100 times better and it will allow you to farm the jungle 50% quicker. A Windcarver blade with 2 major kinetics and a major strike, a spiked Boneplate with 3 greater guards and a major strike, a Thorned Greenweave with 3 greater barriers and a major strike. We take the spiked Boneplate and the Thorned Greenweave with some flexibility because we might find that the enemy carries are fed and so we need more armor, or simply we need more armor to protect our carries. If you think however that the enemy team aren't really of any threat, then you can always go double guard or barrier with a major strike. Finally, we have a Guardian's Ward with 3 greater health and 3 greater strikes. The build has a lot of flexibility. The spiked Boneplate, Thorned Greenweave, Guardian's Ward and Windcarver blade are all interchangeable for this exact reason. You'll notice that we have 8 equipment cards but only 6 slots because again, flexibility is the key. The ideal build if the enemy team have both a physical and energy carry is double Flashfire Piston, Rust Breaker, spiked Boneplate, Thorned Greenweave and then either a Guardian's Ward or a Windcarver blade. If the enemy team don't have an energy carry, then you can take out the energy armor completely and include both your Windcarver blade and Guardian's Ward, or you can do the same if they don't have a physical carry. You might feel you don't need wards late game, so you want that extra attack speed and damage by picking up the Windcarver blade, but I really suggest getting the Guardian's Ward 9 out of 10 times. As you can see, this build focuses on dealing a lot of damage. Rampage's kit is already great for survivability, so we don't need to focus too much on health and armor. Although, if the enemy team are running a lot of ADCs, then your build should adapt accordingly like I mentioned previously. I think the build does this well without sacrificing too much armor for damage or vice versa. The way I like to build Rampage is focusing on damage first, so my first 3 cards are always into some sort of damage or attack speed. I start with the Flashfire Piston into 3 strikes, then my Rust Breaker for the physical penetration, and after I max that out, I go for my final Flashfire for more attack speed. You'll notice however that in this game that I was playing, I used the flexibility of my build to adapt to my team's situation. We didn't really have anyone warding apart from Twin Blast, so it seemed acceptable for me to get wards and delay building more of my damage. The theory behind this is simple: wards save lives and a dead teammate is no good to anyone but the enemy team. It's also not that big of a deal as Rampage because the jungle is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Minion camps seem to always be there, and so you should find yourself considerably ahead of an enemy team if you're jungling and ganking efficiently. At the start of the game, you can open up with a strike token Flashfire Piston or a health potion of Flashfire Piston. You could even open up with a Beastmaster key if you have it. I think it's safe to open with a strike token of Flashfire Piston if you are unlocking your health regen first, because when you're in the jungle, your increased health regen will benefit you a lot more rather than having to spend a point on a health potion. But since I went for my rock throw, I took a health potion first. In the current patch 28, you can jungle extremely well at the start. You want to pick a side and take out the first 2 white camps. If you take them out before 2 minutes, another set of camps will spawn and you can get 4 camps within 2 minutes 30, allowing you to back for your key if you didn't start with a Beastmaster's key. Unfortunately in this game Twin died, so I had to help him out, but ideally this is what you want. There are a couple timings you have to know as well. First, these 2 harvesters spawn at 3 minutes. You want to ideally get one of them around the 3-minute mark and then rotate across onto the other one. The next important timing is at 6 minutes when the black buff spawns and the 2 outer harvesters spawn. The black buff gives you increased damage to towers, so it's really important if you need that extra push to take a tower. The harvesters ideally should be taken at the 6-minute mark along with the black buff. Finally, the prime harvester. Now this harvester spawns at 9 minutes, so you want to try and get it as soon as it's up. The extra amber for your team is vital. If you stick to these timings and rotate the jungle and gank accordingly, you'll have no trouble getting ahead and using Rampage as a beast. I'll talk you through some of my choices in this game so you can understand why I did what I did and how you can improve or learn. We see a Sparrow in lane and we decide to gank her. You have to be careful somewhat early game because 2 ADCs on top of minions will burn you down quite quickly, so be ready to use your ult. Time your rock throws and you should pick up some easy kills. I will say that if you have a choice of hero to gank, you definitely want to focus Sparrow. She does some nasty damage late game and is really vulnerable early to mid game because she has no escape. You'll notice that I clear the wave and then immediately rotate off into the jungle. 3 of us in lane means we're splitting card XP more than we should be, and so I head off to continue farming, allowing my Murdoch and Grax to farm up as well. This is really important as a Rampage. Come in, gank, pick up a kill, maybe clear the wave and then move out. If you continue to stay in lane, especially if there's more than 2 of you, you're just disrupting everyone else's farm and you have plenty of farm in the jungle. I already backed for my keys, so now I'm maxing out my Flashfire Piston for the upgraded bonus. I immediately head straight back into the jungle to continue farming up and trying to get ahead of the enemy. I noticed that my Twin Blast is being collapsed on in the jungle, but this is where Rampage truly shines. I rock the Grim to isolate him from his allies, stopping him from doing more damage to my team. Unfortunately, Twin Blast goes down, but Rampage is right at home in the jungle, and the regen from his ultimate is no match for Grim as he goes down. The deck really has no chance of escaping as my team flank her. This is where you want to take fights if possible in the jungle. Why? Because Rampage in his ult can absorb a lot of damage for your carries, and the narrow paths of the jungle means Rampage's huge body blocks a lot of damage. Unless the enemy team has a lot of AoE like Steel ult or a Gideon ult, you find it quite favourable to engage in the jungle. I decide to steal some of the enemy camps because why not? But you really do want to be careful. If you are doing this, you need to be sure that you aren't going to get collapsed on. I recommend doing this when your ult is on cooldown so you can at least escape easily ulting and then using pounce, or at least using wards. Fortunately for me, it's only Grim, who definitely doesn't want to take this fight in the jungle. I land a great rock on him if I may say so myself, and then I get back up from Twin Blast, and this is yet another easy kill because Grim doesn't do any serious damage early to mid game. I'm casually strolling through the jungle as I notice my howitzer in trouble in mid lane. This is one thing you have to be aware of if you're going to jungle. You need to be watching your allies, seeing where they need assistance and spotting opportunities and taking advantage of them. I head over to mid lane but not quick enough as howitzer goes down. Murdoch lands a great snipe on Feng Mao and I go for the Sparrow. You can see she's merely tickling me while I'm taking huge chunks out of her health, and we're both quite similar in levels. Had I gone and built armor only, then this would have been a completely different scenario. Sparrow would have been able to escape, or she would have been eventually able to burn me down. I return to base to upgrade my cards, and I decide to fully upgrade my Rustbreaker and go for my Windcarver blade. The choice here is simple. My team is ahead and we should push that advantage. The enemy team is running triple carry, so we definitely want to end this game before we hit the late game where the carries are unstoppable. Going for armor at this point would be a mistake in my opinion. Twin and I are doing black buff to help push a tower. We could have gone and killed Grim first, but we let him push forward a bit so he had no chance of escaping. When you engage a hero like Grim, it's important that you let him waste his shield first so that your rock throw actually stuns him. Grim uses his shield way too early here, and as soon as it's down I stun him. We pick up yet another easy kill, and while we are down to half health, you have to remember that with our ult we'd be back up to full health in no time. And while we were killing Grim, our allies took the Orb Prime, and with the Orb Prime, Rampage truly becomes unstoppable. You can see here just how easy it is to kill Sparrow. We still have our ult if we really needed it. The build from here is quite simple. You can max out your Windcarver blade, then add both armor types and finish off your Guardian's Ward. You'll notice that I didn't go for the second Flashfire Piston because I felt we were so ahead. It was better to get the Windcarver blade, as the way we built that item, it provided a lot more punch. Stick to what I've mentioned throughout this video and you'll be golden. In all honesty, the majority of your games will end before you hit anywhere near 60 card XP, just because of how dominant Rampage really is in the early to mid game, and this is me in a solo queue game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. Let me know how you get on with this build in the comment section below and which other heroes you would like to see. Until next time guys, peace.